What's going on, everyone, and welcome to the Midwest Outdoors podcast. As always, I'm your host, Jim O'Neill, and this is brought to you by Fish Daddy. If you haven't, make sure you check out FishDaddyOutdoors.com for all your fishing and, before you know it, ice fishing essentials. Hey, we are up here in La Crosse, Wisconsin. It is one of the top fishing destinations in the Midwest. It is an area that the pro fishermen frequent just every 2 or 3 years, and that is what we are here for this year. The last event of the Bassmaster Elite Series tour is here, and we are already 2 days in. Jay Shakurit, the Wisconsin boy from Door County area, is leading in Angler of the Year points right now. He was sitting in third before the event started, but right behind him, we got Chris Johnston and we've got Trey McKinney. All Seaguar pros, by the way, all top 3, all Seaguar pros. And this episode is also brought to you, besides Fish Daddy, by Seaguar Fishing Line. For all your guys' line essentials, whether it's braid, mono, fluorocarbon, check it out. There's so many different lines, different types of line, different sizes of line. And we're gonna talk about that line, or at least the line that these top pros have been using this year, and some of the applications and why they've chose what they're doing, and maybe some other tips and tricks about fishing line. But La Crosse, Wisconsin. I've been here once in my life. Shout out to my college partner, Ryan Ski. I think we caught about a 15 to 16 pound bag in practice. Feeling really good going into the tournament. We made it to the lock, I think day 1 of the tournament. And as we're leaving the lock, hammer down, blew the lower unit. And that was the end of our event at La Crosse, Wisconsin, and the end of my collegiate career. What could have been, who knows, but it was still an amazing weekend. I always had so much fun in those college events, and wouldn't have had it any other way besides maybe a win here at La Crosse. But La Crosse is just, it's so diverse. People come here throughout the years for different type of fishing. You know, right now, the bass fishing, they'll say, is a little slow, but you can hear pros on stage every day talking about catching 30 to 50, 60 bass, largemouth and smallmouth, and a lot being on topwater frogs right now. I don't know about you guys, but a topwater frog bite has to be one of my absolute favorites. But the walleye fishing in the spring, everyone comes to the Mississippi River, especially by the dams, and you can catch 10 to 13 pound walleye in this river. The catfish fishermen right now, I rolled up late last night, saw a lot of guys out catfishing. You can catch some sturgeon. You know, the ice fishing here, we're right next to Lake Onalaska, one of the big sloughs, backwaters of the Mississippi River, and the bluegill, the pike, the perch fishing is world class. Not only open water right before it freezes late in the fall and then right after ice out in the spring, but the ice fishing has become world class, and it was probably a well-kept secret for a while, but it seems like a lot of people know about it. Catch 2 pound perch here through the ice, which is truly incredible. And you know, there's so many more species, so many big fish, little tiny bait fish that call this river its home. And of course, there's great waterfall opportunity and deer hunting and turkey hunting just a mile from the banks. So very much an outdoor area here in La Crosse, Wisconsin. And in a minute, we're gonna actually join someone from Explore La Crosse and talk about this area. But it is the start of the show, and it's been a while since we've done this, so I at least want to stop and talk about one fish. We had a state record, that is right, an Arizona state record for largemouth bass. There's been some big ones out there, 14, 15 pounders, but caught in a tournament last month, a 16 pounder. That's right, Steve Jenkins down on Roosevelt Lake in Arizona caught a 16.57, that's right, a 16.5 pound largemouth bass in a tournament. And I know that one fish weighed larger than half the bags that were caught that day. So truly incredible fish. To do it in an event like that, I think that's gonna be the big bass of the season, maybe of that tournament circuit's career. But gorgeous fish. Something about those desert fish are really cool. One of the prettiest bass I've ever caught came down on Havasu Lake in Arizona. Truly a beaut. But hey, it feels good to talk about records again. And I think we got some other records we're gonna be talking about next podcast. So guys, make sure you're back. Remember, we're on a summer run here to end the summer. We're gonna be putting out a show every week for a few weeks until we get caught up from my sick delay. But guys, La Crosse, Wisconsin, I'm not gonna hold it out much longer. Let's get into it. And before we talk to some of the Elite Series pros, let's learn more about this place, La Crosse, Wisconsin.
Midwest Outdoors Magazine helps you enjoy the outdoors, giving you the best information on where to go, what to use, and how to use it. With fishing maps marked by the pros, nature notes, in-depth interviews, and much, much more. Your subscription gets you 10 big issues of the best in fishing, hunting, and the great outdoors. Plus, Midwest Outdoors Digital Edition gives you dozens of extra articles. Sign up now at mwomag.com. That's mwomag.com.
From the company that brought innovation to the ice fishing world with their advancements in LED and glow technology, now brings you a new eco-friendly biosilicone bait that is infused with Terabyte, a proprietary solution comprised of amino acid, omega-3, and pheromones that will generate more strikes, which equals more fish. For more information, visit FishDaddyOutdoors.com.
All right, everyone. Hey, we are getting it kicked off here in La Crosse, Wisconsin. And who better to tell us a little bit about La Crosse than Jeremiah from the La Crosse, Explore La Crosse.
Yeah.
So, first of all, I've been to a lot of fishing tournaments. I've been to a lot of weigh-ins. Never been in the middle of a baseball field for one, so that's kind of cool.
Yeah, it's really cool. Definitely what we have here in the La Crosse area is something really unique. Everything that we try to do when we work with different sporting events or different conventions and things like that, we really try to showcase the area and really bring that wow factor, no matter what it is. Everybody remembers a fishing tournament, whether they were a spectator or in it, but what is it that they remember? What is that lasting memory that you're like talking to your buddies like, hey, remember that when we did this? They don't remember what fish was caught necessarily, or you know, the winner of a baseball game or whatever necessarily, but they remember the experience and how it made them feel. And so our hospitality and this really unique wow factor that we can bring and put to a national level is what we always try to bring to whatever that event might be.
Yeah, and you know, we'll get into the fishing in the river here in a second, but what are some things that La Crosse offers? I know there's a school here, there's some history here, and what are some things to see while you're here?
Yeah, so La Crosse really has something for everybody, and I know that sounds really cliche, but it truly does. It's actually hard to market La Crosse sometimes because we have so many things to offer that it's difficult to pick that one thing and really run with it. But definitely at the top of that list, our outdoor recreation is absolutely incredible. Obviously, we have the Mississippi River, one of the best fisheries in the country. The bluffs that are incredible for hiking and biking and the scenic views, and whether it's motorcycle or car drives or whatever it might be. So we have all that stuff. We have an incredible downtown in La Crosse, as well as all our surrounding communities with a lot of mom and pop stores, as well as your chains. So you have a little bit of everything. Phenomenal dining, a lot of different lodging properties, and then a really great art scene and stuff too. So it really is something for everybody. So if, you know, mom and dad come, and whether it's for a sporting event or a fishing tournament or whatever it might be, when that off time is there's something for mom or dad to go find and do to pass the time. And it really is something truly unique. And that's what the anglers love about this event too. Every time when the schedule gets released, they see La Crosse on the schedule. They say they always circle it because it's the one they bring their families to, which really is, you know, it's cool to hear every time when they're going all over the country that they look forward to La Crosse and bringing their families to it to enjoy it as much as we enjoy having them.
Absolutely. And you didn't get directly to it, but I can attest that you got great nightlife too.
Yeah.
We had a late start today, so we were able to go out a little bit last night, and it was a good time.
Yeah, so there's a very big historic, as you mentioned.
Yeah.
There's a lot of history in brewing here.
Yeah.
With what was G. Heidelman Brewing Company, and now it's the City Brewery still has old style there. Pabst is brewed there, but they do a lot of different contract brewing as well. But a lot of great different craft breweries and wineries and things too. And this nightlife, like you mentioned, we used to be in the Guinness Book of World Records for the most bars on one street. And yeah, I'm sure you found a few of them. So it's always a good time.
Now, fishing, we're here for a bass tournament, so we'll talk plenty about that, especially with our anglers. But there's so many species when you talk about the Mississippi River. Whether you're a walleye fisherman, a pan fisherman, you like the toothy critters or the bass, there's really something for everyone here, just in the fishing terms as well, too.
Absolutely. The Upper Mississippi River has 119 species swimming in these waters. All of them are very abundant, great quality, great quantities. And so again, it's just a great place to bring families because you never know what you're gonna hook. You throw that hook down in the water and you can be pulling up, a giant sturgeon or, these giant bluegills. So it really is a cool place that you're gonna catch fish, you're gonna catch a lot of fish, and you never really know what's gonna be on the end of your line.
And I wanna talk to people about the access because, before I left and I told my mother, I'm a grown man now, and she said, "Oh, you're going to Mississippi, be careful."
Yeah.
They think it's, the big barges only. There's so much backwater. There's sloughs, there's little lakes, there's creeks, there's smaller rivers that flow in. A lot of attainable things, whether you have a john boat, a bass boat, or just shore fishing. There's somewhere to pretty much fish for everyone.
Absolutely, yeah. There's a ton of shore access, and we actually have a lot of blogs and stuff on our website at explorelacrosse.com that talks about different shore access and some of the top destinations just for shore fishing. But then tons, like you mentioned, tons of backwaters that are more like the Everglades or the swamps of Louisiana than you would ever think, like Mississippi River, Wisconsin, Minnesota. And which are so much fun too, to just kind of get lost or in a kayak or a canoe or anything, to just go explore some of that stuff because you hardly see anybody. It's so scenic. Very rarely do you ever hear another boat or anything like that. And so that's really cool. But you also do have the main channel where there's more commerce and really is. There's so many different rivers and there's so many different sloughs, and the backwaters of Lake Onalaska, which is 6,700 acres of really just a big vast area. Again, where there's not a lot of boat traffic necessarily because it's a very shallow and weedy lake as well. So it definitely is. There's tons of different options to go and explore.
It always blows my mind. My buddy Nate behind the camera right now fishes the river probably more than any other body of water, and he always tells me how the boat ramps can be filled, yet when he goes to some of his spots, he doesn't see anyone all day, which is just, it's a crazy concept, kind of,
It is, it truly is, and each pool isn't very long in terms of mileage. I think pool 8 is only like 18 miles or something like that. But like your buddy Nate says there, once you get into the body of water, it's so expansive and it just spreads out, and it's more like a delta a lot of times too, especially up on Pool 7 on Lake Onalaska. You get into some of that and it's more California Delta-y, and there's just these little tributaries everywhere, especially when the water goes up. I mean, you can really go and explore, and you might never see anybody. It's really cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Before we let you go, what's one or two spots that you personally love about La Crosse that maybe add to the visit list while we're here?
Yeah, so I mean, my family and I, we absolutely love the Goose Island area, whether you're out on the boat or a kayak or fishing, or just going and exploring some of the trails. They have awesome walking and hiking trails down there, nice and easy. It's all flat. They keep them very well groomed and mowed and packed down with different traffic. But we take our dog, we have a 106-pound German Shepherd lab mix that just absolutely loves it down there. And it is so scenic. It's just gorgeous. It's just out of town, which is nice, so you don't feel that hustle and bustle of the city. And so Goose Island is absolutely one of our favorite places in the world to be. You have to check out Grandad Bluff while you're here. Grandad Bluff is a park. It's an award-winning park that you can see Wisconsin, overlooks the city of La Crosse, but you can see Wisconsin obviously from there, the marsh, over to Minnesota and La Crescent, and all the way down to Iowa. And it's absolutely beautiful overlook of the entire river, the system, and it really is just kind of like, wow, this is pretty awesome place. And then restaurants wise, and I could go on forever. So any restaurant, pick one. you're gonna succeed.
I've had some big portions and some tasty food
Yeah.
while I was here, so I can attest it's good.
Yeah.
Well, guys, we're gonna go get ready for the weigh-in today, and then we're gonna sit down and talk to the anglers that were on the water this weekend and talk a little bit about their fishing line in particular. We'll be right back, guys. We are back here, and we are starting it from the top of the bottom at third place. No shame. Third best fisherman in the world this year. How does that sound if you put it that way?
Did I take third? I thought I took fourth.
Dude, really? Someone got you there? Someone got you there? Listen, either way, okay? We're not gonna make a big deal out of it.
I know.
But
It is a big deal, though.
I know. Well, after
Yeah.
day one or two, it showed you in first.
I know.
Things were exciting.
Yeah, it was exciting.
But to be fair, it's not like you made it the last day. You did your work.
Right.
They had to pretty much not catch anything, and you know,
Right.
you had some
Yeah,
really good.
exactly.
You had some really good fishermen behind
Yeah,
you.
right. Yeah, you can't harp on it. I mean, I knew these guys were going to catch them coming into it. So kind of to have that initial, like, oh, I'm leading by 2 points, you know, I was like, kind of a little bit of a tease, I guess you could call it. But no, I knew what I had to do, and I accomplished that. They just had to fall, and it just didn't happen.
Well, the good news is, from looking online, you have some true supporters out there, because the second you took the lead, I saw comments. I told you guys Trey was never going to win. The Canadians can't win 2 in a row.
Yeah.
I mean, the comments just started
Right.
flowing immediately.
Right.
So
Yeah.
it's pretty comical.
Awesome.
But we're talking to the top guys, especially because a weird phenomenon happened where you're all Seaguar pros in the top.
Sure.
All right.
Yeah.
And the discussion is how important line is, right?
Yeah.
And how it can change or differentiate to each angler,
Yeah, right.
to each location you go to. So I guess a couple of questions that we've been asking everyone is, one, what was your most used line this year?
This year?
Yeah,
Oh,
this
man.
season.
I'd have to say my most utilized line was 17-pound InvizX.
Okay.
That's like my all-around go-to.
Sure.
Mostly bait casting gear
Yep.
for that 17-pound, but day in and day out, I mean, you can flip with it. You can throw moving baits with it. You can literally do everything under the sun with that fluorocarbon. 99% of the time, that's what I have on.
Mhm.
You know, whether I'm catching 8-pounders or I'm catching 2-pounders.
Yeah,
you know? So it's just strong stuff. I love it.
Absolutely. And you're a Great Lakes guy. The other day I was up filming a Midwest Outdoors show, and there's your trailer and sturgeon sitting there. I know that's pretty close to home
yeah.
there.
Oh, yeah.
But you know probably more than a lot of the southern guys about spinning fishing,
Yeah.
spinning tackle. Now, maybe for you, you're a few years younger than me, maybe it was more normal, but it seemed like just a handful of years ago, everyone was throwing braid to fluorocarbon leader. Like that was,
Yeah.
it's now like the only way
Right,
pretty much to
right,
utilize
yeah.
spinning gear. What do you look for
Yeah.
for your braid there?
So that's the most important thing, I
Yeah.
think, is the connection knot, the braid itself, and your leader line. So it's all dependent on where I'm fishing. Now, for my braided line of choice, I use the PEX braid. That stuff's amazing. It is the thinnest, strongest, farthest casting braid I've ever used in my life. I use 3 sizes. There's a 16-pound, an 18-pound, and a 21-pound.
Okay.
It sounds a little bit confusing because it isn't Japanese.
Right, of course they have to make it a little different.
It is
Yeah.
confusing, but the 18-pound reminds me of like a 8-pound or a 10-pound of
Super
a
thin
different
diameter.
braid. You know what
Yeah,
I mean? Yeah.
yeah.
And the 16-pound is like super, super thin, where you can get those hair jigs and stuff like that out on long casts.
Sure.
And then as far as my leader line goes, I'll change it up all over the country. For example, this week on La Crosse, I was running a 15-pound InvizX leader just because the water's dirty. Didn't have to worry about breaking off and stuff like that. But majority of the time, I'm using 8, 10, or 12-pound townsend
Okay.
for my spinning leader line. I
Yeah.
tie an FG knot for my line-to-line, to the braid, to the fluorocarbon. And yeah, I mean, all around the country, if I got that braid in those 3 sizes and those other 3 sizes in that Tatsu, I'm pretty much ready for absolutely anything.
Absolutely. Now, that would cover most things except maybe when you get into the slop here
Yeah.
or Okeechobee.
Yeah.
What is your go-to braided line? Your thick,
Yep.
your heavy-duty working
Yep.
line.
That is the, well, gosh, dang it.
I'll try to. I'll add it. You're fine.
I don't know why I totally just forgot about it. Okay.
You good?
That, yeah.
What's your go-to braided line for the heavy stuff? You're punching,
Yeah.
you're frogging, stuff
Yeah.
like that.
That's the Seaguar Tactics,
Okay.
50 and 65 pound. So, for example, this week it was a little bit heavier cover than normally what I fish, just because we were around a lot of arrowheads, reeds, stuff like that.
Sure.
So I stepped it up to the 65 pound for the frog. Normally, if I'm around a little more open cover, maybe just flipping some, light mats and stuff like that, I'm a go-to with that 50 pound. It seems to cut the grass a little bit better than that thicker braid does, but the 65, I mean, you could pull in a dang, you could pull in something with that
I've
stuff.
broke some small trees with some 65 pound. I know
I've
that
probably
much.
pulled in a 150 pound log with that.
There you go. Well, that brings back though, people focus so much on what the number says, on the box.
Yeah.
And I tell people to only a point, because your diameter across the board, especially if you get outside of Seaguar, different companies, everyone has different diameters. There's different strands, the formula on which it's made,
Sure.
So there's so much to learn about line. And then at the end of the day, confidence, right, is the biggest thing too. What you find that works best to your strengths.
Yeah, for sure. No, yeah, I mean, confidence is the number one thing when it comes to fishing, your equipment, all the above.
Yeah.
And especially, I mean, we're competing against the best in the world. So to have the best products in the world that back you and the confidence in some of the products, or I shouldn't say some of the products, all of the products that they have is amazing. So, yeah.
Yeah, they've got so many now, though, that you might not use them all.
Yeah, I know. That's why
you might not use them all.
I don't use all their products.
Yes,
So it's
yes.
I have my core ones that I'm confident all the time, so I try not to sway from that because I know exactly what it's right for those conditions, whether it's logs and stuff like that. Yeah.
Now, living up in the Bay real quick, because your dad's obviously the Mr. Walleye, all right? You're the bass guy. You ever go out there? You guys ever target? Because Seaguar has some awesome new muskie lines, some big, thick line. You guys ever go chase those big green bay muskie ever?
I don't. No, I'm not into the muskie game. Yeah, a lot of guys are pretty dedicated into that, so I try to stay away from it.
Yeah, it's a different animal.
Sure.
It's a different animal. Well, hey, congrats on the year.
Thanks.
Third or fourth, either way.
Yeah.
But
Great year.
Congrats, and we hope to see you up north next year.
Thank you. Appreciate
All right,
it.
have a good one. Although maybe he didn't make it to Championship Sunday today, he's still this year's champion, the Bassmaster Classic champion, Eastern Fothergill. Hey, man, what a season, huh?
Yeah, it was a great rookie season. I wish I could have ended on a bang, but, it's all good. Can't complain with my season. After the rough start we had, great comeback, and, yeah, double qualified for the Classic, so that's pretty cool.
Some people are praying and crying in the crowd, hoping they could get just, in there, and you double qualified.
I was happy to do my part. We'll move the spot one more down.
Exactly. You guys buy them a cake, Before we get into the juice, your rookie year, your first year done, I'm sure you talked to a lot of guys before the year started, but what are some takeaways? What are some things you were eye-opening that you didn't expect? And I guess just the overall consensus of the year.
I guess for me, I completely knew this coming in, but just how good these guys are, and everyone says you can't miss a beat on the Elite Series, and that's, I saw that the first two events. I was just a tiny bit off on what was going on, and, we saw I got basically last and on 90-something for the second event, so I was just that, that minute off what was going on, and that's where I ended up in the results. So it's just, you cannot miss a beat against these guys. They're so good. They really are the best of the best, and it was very eye-opening those first two events, just how good these guys are.
Yeah, and luckily due to the college tour that started it all for you, you get to fish at least around the country at a young age. I always thought when I was looking at the Elite Series, like, wow, some of these fisheries are just so unbelievably different than what we have here in the Midwest. Now, I've even learned, though, since I started Midwest Outdoors, how many different fisheries we have in the Midwest. If you go outside of maybe the big fisheries, and find some of the unique ones, what are some things that helped you nationwide growing up and fishing in Minnesota?
I guess for me, where I grew up in Grand Rapids, there's basically everything you have to offer except tidal fishing.
Yeah.
All the lakes and, the headwaters of the Mississippi is right through town. So basically anywhere you go in the country aside from tide, you can kind of, the light bulb will go off like, oh, I know a lake where they do this or they do this. I have dirty water, clean water, rock, sand, grass, everything current. So I can kind of relate everything you go around the country to something that I saw around my house in Grand Rapids.
That's pretty cool, and that speaks volume to the fishery in that area as well, where you grew up. Obviously, a lot of people in the Midwest would die for the fisheries of Minnesota too.
For sure, yeah. I didn't realize it, while I was growing up in Minnesota, but once I went to school at Montvale in Alabama, that's when I realized, like, holy cow, the fishing I had back home was insane. Because now I'm like working my butt off for 5 bites. So
it's true, but growing up and learning clean lakes in Minnesota, dirty rivers. Learning that, and then going to college in Alabama where you get to fish ledges and currents and stuff like that. You got, between high school and college, you got a nice little combo of learning there.
Yeah, for sure. Putting the two together is definitely the reason why I'm where I'm at today, and having the success that I did is, just like you said, putting the two together and just constantly learning everywhere I go. I'm able to take something away from every single tournament that I do. And, that's all in the mindset too. You got to take everything as a learning experience and just grow at each event you go to. So that's one thing I've really focused on, and I think it's really paying off.
Absolutely. Well, today is the Seaguar line episode, so we got to dig into what I'll ask you before I say it. Where do you put line as importance in your 1 through 10 category of all your gear that you use in fishing?
It's probably a 9. That's your connection from you to your fish. So line is definitely crucial in the fishing game, and having confidence in your line is, one of the most important things that we have to do.
Yeah, he's going 9 high. So most people are saying first or second most. So that's like second most important. So yes, again, top 3. Every angler's been saying that. So we'll get into, what do you think was your most used line this year? What did you find yourself using a lot?
My most used line was for sure the gold label leader line throughout the year. I tend to use a lot of spinning rods. Growing up in Minnesota, that's just my comfort zone. So I put a spinning rod a lot of places most other people don't. So I like to apply it in kind of unique situations like the classic, throwing it around the super heavy timber and stuff. So yeah, the gold label is crucial for me.
And something, I believe we talked about this, or I'm completely wrong, and I'll cut this out of the podcast. But I believe it was down in Texas. You were fishing the stand-up trees when you caught one of your bigger fish, and you shocked me on how big of a leader you said you were fishing with. Does that ring a bell? Were you fishing with that?
Yeah,
pretty
I was using an 8-pound braid to a 15 and a 17-pound fuller carbon leader. Yeah. So I really beefed up the leader. Used the 8-pound braid, so I still have the castability, but I beefed up that leader to have the strength to yank him out. So,
and question, because I've had trouble when the leader's thicker than the braid. What is your go-to knot there for the conjoining?
I use strictly an Alberto knot. I'm not a believer in the FG knot. I think if you mess a little something up on the FG, it'll come unraveled on you. Yeah. So no issues with the Alberto, and it's almost as compact as an FG. It's the next best in terms of size. So I'm an Alberto guy.
All right, good to know. We've got 3 different answers there so far. So it's funny though. Everyone. It comes back to what I say is, in my opinion, the most important thing about fishing, not gear-wise or anything like that, but your confidence.
Confidence.
It all comes down to confidence.
Yep. As long as you're confident in it, that's the best thing for you, and that's what you need to use. So confidence is everything.
So your confidence with some heavier line, or that's maybe what you needed. I've also been asking, how small did you get? Because we believe in finesse fishing, which the world of bass fishing is getting more and more finesse, How light of line did you ever have to get down to?
The smallest I use is 8-pound, especially with the gold label. It's got a thinner diameter than a lot of your leader lines, but it doesn't, you still have the strength that you need. So 8-pound is the smallest I go, but I would say typically day in and day out, I'm using a 12-pound gold label leader. That's kind of my go-to.
Yeah. And since we're in Frog Haven here in La Crosse, Wisconsin, what are you throwing on your frog rod?
I'm throwing 50-pound smackdown. I use that for all my braid applications, whether it's frogging or punching. I'm a 50-pound guy. I don't really feel the need for 65. Mm-hmm. I put my hook set versus most of these guys, and I've never broke 50. So, and throwing a frog, you need to whip it out there, and it's a little bit smaller diameter, so you got more castability with the 50-pound than you do 65. So I'm a 50-pound braid guy.
The nice thing about that, the smaller diameter too on that smackdown, you can cut a little bit when you talk about punching.
Exactly.
Ripping through them pads and the weeds, stuff like that.
Yeah, that little bit smaller diameter definitely makes a big difference, and that might be something that a lot of people don't think about. But that little difference in diameter definitely cuts through the grass a lot better, and it allows you to get the fish out.
And something I haven't talked about, because at a Bassmaster event, we're not going to focus on this usually, but we hear 8-pound, 6-pound, 10-pound. That's in a lab with straight tension. A question I ask asked a lot by especially younger individuals. Can you catch a fish bigger than 6 pounds with a 6 pound line? We all know, especially probably down in Montevallo the most, you caught some of them big cats, I'm gonna guess,
Oh, yeah.
bass fishing.
Oh yeah.
What's one of the biggest fishes you can remember on light line?
I mean, I've caught probably stripers. Honestly, I've
Yeah.
got some stripers close to 30 pounds on a minnow, just scoping around. So, yeah, 8-pound line, 30-pound striper is probably the biggest for me.
Yeah, learn how to use that drag. That's what it's all about.
Yeah, as long as you get by the hook set, you're pretty much good to go. As long as you're playing with drag.
Absolutely. What would you say is your go-to, or if you have multiple for different techniques, would love to hear about it, but what's your go-to knot to the bait, to the hook?
I just do the typical, I don't even know what it's called, I think fisherman's knot, go through 5 to 8 wraps up the line and go back to the bottom loop, whatever that's called. I think it's fisherman's knot.
I love it. I've heard fisherman, I've heard trilene knot, but I've seen different things for the trilene. So, but that is my go-to knot too. So that there you have it. Even with a classic winner, I think.
There you go.
Pretty good.
Yeah, you're doing good.
Yeah, I'm doing great. So this year's done. We're going back to the classic. I know you're going to be thinking about that. I talked to you off camera. I have to mention it. Everyone keeps talking about how they can't wait to shoot something. But you're in the same mindset as me. It's fishing year round.
It's fishing year round. I will hunt a little bit, but when I'm in the tree stand or something, I'm thinking about fishing. So I'm just scared of getting behind the 8 ball and fishing. I feel like if I'm hunting, a lot of these elite guys will be passing me in terms of knowledge and experience on the water. So I can't let that happen. I'll be fishing a lot this fall and winter.
2 last things before we let you go. Finish your season, get home safe, relax for a couple days at least. 1, what would it mean to you next year to go back to back and win another classic?
That would be insane. It works out good for me. My girlfriend actually lives in Knoxville, so
There you go.
I'll get to visit her a bunch this fall and also, do some idling and fishing around the Knoxville area on Loudon and Tellico. So it would mean the world, and I'm definitely going to work hard and do my best to make it happen. We'll see.
And what's your girlfriend's name?
Elizabeth.
Elizabeth, that means you have tons of friends in the area. Bring them all down. We'll have a great party down
We're going to have
there.
a party in
Yeah, we're
downtown
going to have a
Knoxville,
good
that's
party.
for sure.
Looking forward to it. All right, last thing. Next year, set a goal, put it on camera, something maybe you've already thought about. What's something we're shooting after, or something outside the box for next season?
For me, it's top 5 AOI. I'm going to do some pre-practicing a little bit this fall. I've never done that really before, so that's what I'm shooting for. If we eliminate, our start to this season, we could be pretty close to that. So that's what I'm shooting for, is the top 5 AOI players.
Absolutely. Well, as you're, I'm sure, a little disappointed, Bass is not coming to the Midwest next year. A little heartbreaking for me.
A little bit.
I don't know if I'll see it. Well, the Classic. We'll be at the Classic. But
Cool.
Good luck next year, and keep experiencing life as a pro fisherman, right?
Yeah, well, thanks for having me on, and yeah, I'm looking forward to next year.
Easton Fothergill, everyone. Check him on the socials. Follow him. Good luck, buddy.
Appreciate it.
Thanks so much. Well, he caught a 3.5 pounder at about 10 a.m. I'm sitting at my house in Chicago watching live, and I said, I can't do it. I can't miss it if it happens. So I drive 4.5 hours to La Crosse, Wisconsin, and it didn't happen.
It didn't.
But it's okay.
It's okay. It's all right.
What are you feeling right now?
Yeah, I'm feeling it. I mean, there's, it's good. It's second. I can't complain. If I did, I'd sound bad, and I'm not gonna do that. So I mean, it's a great accomplishment. I mean, for me, if I had to pick one between AOI and Classic, I'm still picking AOI.
Yeah.
Just because it's just got me. I was second twice. Last year I got second. This year I've got second. So they say third time's a charm. So who knows?
Everyone's like, oh, we feel bad for him. Oh, we can't. People are hugging your mom. Listen, last time I checked, if you're second in the Bassmaster Elite Series, that some would argue you're the second best fisherman in the world, on the planet that we live on. Last time I checked, I wouldn't be too upset about being the second best pro bass fisherman in the world.
You're right. Exactly.
So that's what you can think about when, yeah, sure, the money, maybe missing out on that.
Yeah.
That bites a little bit. That bites a little bit.
Yeah.
But, I mean, what a year. 2 years in now, 2 second places. You got an Elite Series win 2 weeks ago. I mean, that right there, let's talk about that for a second.
Yeah.
We got to come home to the Midwest for the last 2 tournaments.
Yep.
And checks in both. But you won last week on Lake St. Clair. How'd that all unfold?
I'll tell you, that was a crazy one. Practice wasn't even that good. And somebody told me a long time ago, it said, when it's your week, it's your week.
Yep.
Can't walk out of the way. And I was like, yeah, well, okay.
Sure.
All right. And it really is. Like, it really is. Like, at Fork, I really didn't notice it because I was just going. You know, I was just fishing. Well, honestly, same thing. You just can't walk out of the way of it.
Yeah.
And it was pretty special. Practice wasn't even that good, and we just kind of slowly started to put it together.
Yep. So, sponsor this show, Seaguar. We see it on the chest. We see it on the jersey, you know, on the hat right there. Boom.
Yeah.
Great hat for this interview. It gets overlooked all the time, I feel like, until you're a professional angler and you have to make sure that A through Z is all correct. But fishing line has to be in the top 5 of most important of all.
Top 2.
Top 2.
Yeah, I mean, it's literally that's probably number 1. I mean,
Yeah.
other than your motor that gets you there,
Yep.
that's the one thing. I mean, your reel reels them in, but if it don't have line, it's no good anyway. So
And for our shore anglers, we take away the motor, so maybe the most important thing about fishing.
exactly.
So you fished all over the country this year.
Yep.
And you caught smallmouth, caught largemouth. I'm sure you caught a few fish with teeth and a few other, fish you didn't mean to catch. You have to use so much different line. You're fishing shallow, you're fishing deep, you're fishing with braid, you're fishing with fluoro. Do you fish with mono at all anymore?
I do not, honestly.
mono?
Honestly,
Okay.
it'd be good, like certain like pop-Rs, a little bit of leader.
Sure.
But honestly, I just haven't tied it. Always straight braid.
No, yeah, I've just learned that braid has really taken over,
It has.
I mean, now if you're not braid to fluoro on your spinning rods, you're doing it wrong. It's pretty much
Pretty
said,
much,
right?
yeah. Like you are.
So one of my questions is for the year, how light did you go down on line and for what application and how heavy did we get this year?
So probably I'm a very simple angler. So like I'd really 10-pound,
Okay.
the lightest I went on all my spinning stuff. And, okay, so there's 2 days you can go lighter, right? So 10-pound Tatsu is a bigger diameter.
Sure.
I can go to 10-pound Gold Label and get a smaller diameter, which is more finessey. So Seaguar has so many options that we don't have to downsize to necessarily downsize, literally.
Yeah.
So it's a pretty cool thing. That's what I love about the brand. When I want to downsize, I go to a 10-pound Gold Label, the smallest diameter, still the same strength. And honestly, like if I want to upsize, I'll go to Gold Label, a bigger diameter like 12, and it actually be 10. So there's a lot you can do, but honestly, most thrown Tatsu, and the heaviest that I've went up on fluorocarbon is flipping with 25.
Flipping with 25. All right. What if you do a lot of live scoping, you look at those fish a lot. If we just talked about how you got to have the braid to the fluoro on the spinning rods. What is the go-to braided weight for your spinning line?
You know, there's usually from 16. So the lighter you go in braid, the only reason that benefits is casting and current.
Right.
That's it. Like, I mean, it breaks easier, anything else like that. So what I usually run is about 18.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we have the PE X8. It's more of the Japanese style braid.
Yep, one of the new.
Yep.
Yep.
Slick and soft, and very small diameter. It gives you a long casting distance. That's what I love about it. And then also to my leader, 10-pound Tatsu or Gold Label is my go-to normally, whether I'm 18-foot visibility, 5 inches. It's something that I like.
Very good. So I think we should have stopped on it for 1 second, but when you said 10 pounds, the lightest you went, all those people that tell me I need to use 5 or 6 pound leaders on St. Clair to catch a monster bag, I guess that's debunked there, huh?
Well, it's not. So there's a bunch of different ways to look at it. So like I fish thoroughly. I put my bait in front of enough fish where I'm going to find some that's going to bite it.
Sure.
And, some people are like, well, why don't you throw a lighter? Now, if I, by golly, have to, I might, but I haven't seen many times for it. You know, it's a lot of times for me on 10-pound line, it's such a great line because it is finessey still.
Sure.
And so like light line, it's not for the fish to see it, it's how your bait presents, right?
How it acts, yep.
So exactly, the thicker something is, the less action, the less real-like action it's gonna have. So the lighter the line, it flays in its own way. It just zigzags to the water exactly. Same thing with a crankbait, you know, lighter line makes it go deep or makes it there's a whole bunch of different things that light line have to do. And honestly, the main reason I don't throw light line is so I don't have to retie as much.
Yeah.
And that really aggravates me, and it shouldn't, but yeah.
Well, it's downtime, you know?
Exactly.
Every time every second your bait's in the water, it's an opportunity you can get bit.
Exactly. And if I have to redo a leader, I mean, yeah, you can have a bunch of spinning rods, but if you don't have a bunch of spinning rods, but like I only have 4, 3. And I usually put them on there, and then instead of retying my leader every single when I stretch the 6 or 7 whatever pound line, with that I just roll with it. The shorter it gets, the stronger it gets.
Very good. Last couple questions. What do you think what would you say your go-to knot? Obviously there's a few different knots you tie depending on, but as a scoper, what is the knot that you go to?
The funny thing, I really don't know the name of it.
Okay.
But
that's okay.
But
We'll figure it out.
Well, the main thing, it's got 3 tag ends.
Okay.
And so literally you double it just like a palminar. You hold like this, spin it around it, create a loop, run it back through the loop, cinch it tight. You'll have a loop, and then you'll have 1 tag in. You cut all 3, and it creates 3 tag ends. That one I like. He'll pull up in a Xamin an example that you guys can have as well.
Yeah, we're going to show it. We're going to figure this out.
Yeah, we'll figure it out some way.
We'll figure this one out.
And what I like about it doesn't burn. It like a palminar, if you tie it right, strong. You tie it wrong, horrible. It cuts it instantly. And I've lost way too much money because I was tying a palminar for so long. I mean, way too much, and honestly crazy. Yeah. Because what it does is if one of those strands go over each other, as soon as you pull it tight and it's a shock, cuts it instantly.
Rips down on itself.
Yep. And that's what I like about this knot is as tight as I can pull on it, I can still literally move the knot.
Absolutely. Last question, and then you get a much-deserved off-season. I'm sure there'll be a lot of fishing in your future.
Nope. There's going to be a lot of dead ducks, to be honest.
These hunters, I tell you, these guys, I'm telling you, they'd even be better at fishing if they just didn't hunt.
Yep.
That's why, nope. I hear you. To be fair, I'm salmon fishing in the fall, so I don't know how much that's helping my bass game.
Yeah, the thing I think about it is it's all mental. Bass fishing is mental, like literally mental. And if I keep going and I burn myself out, bloosh, gone forever. Bye. Trey McKinney's gone. So that's why when off season comes, Trey McKinney does not touch rods. We leave rods alone unless one of my buddies want to go fishing.
Sure.
We'll go fishing, have a good time, enjoyable. But other than that, it's 12 gauge, hunting, whether we hunting up in Canada, Texas, it don't matter. Honestly, just the outdoors. Heck, I can be walking through the woods and be happier.
Very good. For the people at home, especially the youth that's learning, one tip online. So a trick, a tip, something you got.
Yeah, so online, this is gonna be a weird trick. So when you put it in the rod box or you got them and you got strapping them up, you wrap the line. I would hope you do. Wrap the line on the rod, then put it down so it doesn't tangle. What you can do is when you hook it on, you got your line going right down your rod. Before you twist it, put it in the water, swirl it, wraps it all the way to the tip.
All right.
2 seconds. Instead of twirling this one, twirling that one, I literally click, swirl it, put it down. Done.
There you go. That is a tip even I didn't know. Well, Trey McKinney, until I can maybe get you out on Newton in the spring, all right, buddy? Good luck, and we'll see you at the Classic next year.
Sounds good. Thanks, buddy.
Bud. Good luck.
Absolutely.
Midwest Outdoors Magazine helps you enjoy the outdoors, giving you the best information on where to go, what to use, and how to use it. With fishing maps marked by the pros, nature notes, in-depth interviews, and much, much more. Your subscription gets you 10 big issues of the best in fishing, hunting, and the great outdoors. Plus, Midwest Outdoors Digital Edition gives you dozens of extra articles. Sign up now at MWOMag.com. That's MWOMag.com.
From the company that brought innovation to the ice fishing world with their advancements in LED and glow technology, now brings you a new eco-friendly biosilicone bait that is infused with Terabyte, a proprietary solution comprised of amino acid, omega-3, and pheromones that will generate more strikes, which equals more fish. For more information, visit fishdaddy.outdoors.com.
I don't know about you, but this is one of my favorite shows I've done. We got to explore an area, get out of the office. We got to talk about fishing. We got to talk about the Elite Series. Got to speak with some of the pros, especially the young guns, the up-and-comers that are making a mark. And it's so cool that quite a few of the great ones right now are from the Midwest, including my home state of Illinois. It's cool to see. It gets me going. And, you know, they're doing things that I wish I was doing at their age. And I know so many others are and were. And I got to hear a lot of that humble pie this weekend on the Elite Series stage. You know, tears of joy that they got to do this, that they get to do this. It's cool to see the anglers know that they're like a pro athlete, whether you're in the NHL, the NFL, You know, they are the pros doing what we love to do at the absolute top level of the game. Shout out to those guys that have put in the grind that makes it, because between broken down boats and trucks and tens of thousands of miles traveled around the country, missing your loved ones, your children, your spouses, your family, it's a tough thing to do. But these guys do it for the love of the game, and I love seeing it firsthand. It really is cool. Shout out this week to our product highlight. These bad boys I'm wearing, these are the Strike King Rogues S11s in green water frames. These are from Strike King. They retail $49.99. They're really awesome. They super lightweight. One of my favorite things about sunglasses. They don't hurt your head, don't hurt your ears. Super lightweight. Nice thing about it also, they come with a microfiber Strike King lens cleaner. Nice to have one of those on. Came with the bungee, okay? These attach really nicely to the glasses. And if you're like me, you guys have lost a few sunglasses in your day. I know I have. Whether it's putting them down on your seat on the boat, having the wind strip them off your hat or on the top of your head while you're running, regardless, these saves them. It's really nice. If you want to take them off for a second to tie a knot or something, you can put them down. They stay right there. Absolutely perfect execution there. Comes with the semi-hard case, real nice and compact. Nice little zipper on there, opens it up. There is that wipe like I was telling you guys about. And, you know, you can take them off, put them away, store them. It comes with a nice clip. I always clip them on to my film backpack when I'm traveling. Makes it really convenient. Or right now, if you're in a podcast, hook it onto your belt loop and keep talking. And now you can go hands-free. So anyways, guys, I really hope you enjoyed this week's show. I know I enjoyed making it. I want to thank everyone that joined the show and my guests that have joined me a few times over the last 2 years while they're making triumphant marches in the fishing industry. So big shout out to Trey McKinney and Easton Fothergill, who are in one of the top spots of fishing, but always make time to shout out the Midwest Outdoors podcast and have a little conversation with them. So I appreciate that greatly, guys. Nathan Speltz, thanks for being my camera guy and helping out a little bit today, coming out to see me. We're in his backyard. He films a lot of content around here, so always something good to see. Guys, like I said, not 2 weeks, only 1 week till our next show. Not exactly sure what we'll be doing, but it's gonna be a good one. Big shout out to Fish Daddy. Thanks for sponsoring, guys. Again, run over to the website, fishdaddyoutdoors.com, for checking all that out. Until next time, guys, I'm Jim O'Neill, Tight Lines. We'll see you next time.